All right, we got the foot massager going on. There we go. Um, Earlier this evening, I recorded a new episode of our twice a week podcast, Coffee with Hawk. Uh, please enjoy the following clip. It's the first couple minutes of that. There is a link in the link tree to our podcast page and our YouTube page. You can subscribe to both of those for free. And because TikTok's not going to be here for much longer. And so if you want to follow me, if you want to follow my brother, please go to our YouTube page and follow us there. And please enjoy the following clip of Coffee with Hawk, even though Hawk, such as myself, does not drink coffee. Have a great night. All right, guys, welcome back to another Coffee with Hawk with your host, me, Hawk. I'm recording this on Thursday, November 14th at about 5:15 p.m. A lot of news, and we're going to talk about the last 48 hours. We're going to talk about Trump's cabinet nominees. We're going to talk about what he is doing to the Senate and why. We're going to talk about how he picked Matt Gaetz and the testimony that the then 17-year-old girl that he had sex with gave to the House Ethics Committee. We're going to talk about RFK Jr., Joe Manchin, and judges, how Trump is rewarding his criminal trial attorneys with jobs in his cabinet. What he's planning on doing with electric cars, how terrified Republicans are of him, the fact that Nancy Pelosi, this past summer, pushing out an 81-year-old Joe Biden, just announced or just filed her paperwork to run for re-election. She's currently 84. We're going to talk about who Rick Scott wants to fill Marco Rubio's vacant seat in the United States Senate. Sebastian Gorka makes a return. We're going to talk about the ethics report itself on Matt Gaetz and a couple of other nominees, a little bit about Jack Smith and Tulsi Gabbard, January 6th trials coming up, and the fact that this election was a lot closer than people think it really was. I'm going to break down some numbers on that. One columnist, Timothy Noah, wants Trump to be put in jail for a week between now and Election Day, which I wholly support. How many books Florida banned last year, how Republicans are caving and bending over once again, problems with our media, why Trump is picking the cabinet nominees that he did, that he is. We're going to talk about Bill Clinton's frustration over Monica Lewinsky, and which friend of Donald Trump Jr. got the top White House personnel job. And some things along those lines. So let's dive in. But first, I think it's important to acknowledge that the last 48 hours have been a real wake-up call for Republicans in Washington, D.C., specifically Republican senators. They all seemed to think that they were going to get 2016 Trump. 2016 Trump was a clown. He never expected to win the GOP nominee. He never expected to win the presidential election. But he did. And when he got there, I think for a bit, he decided he was going to try to be serious. He surrounded himself, with adults in the room, with a lot of his cabinet picks at that time, and people like Jim Mattis, folks like that. But that was then, and this is now. Donald Trump just spent 4 years trying to stay out of prison. And he wants vengeance. During his first term, Donald Trump had no ideology. During his second term, he does have an ideology: vengeance, retribution, and punishment for those who he believes have wronged him. And again, it's like, Tulsi Gabbard for director of of National Intelligence, RFK Jr. for Secretary of Health, Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, and Fox News host Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. These are clownishly stupid picks. However, what's the one thing that all of these people have in common who have been nominated to these specific department heads? They've all been vilified by the departments that they're now seeking to lead. Matt Gaetz was almost prosecuted by the DOJ for underage sex trafficking. RFK Jr. has been ridiculed by public health officials for 40 years. Pete Hegseth, his latest book, War on Warriors, if you read that book, it's like he thinks that every single person in the United States military is woke or gay or trans or all of the above. And Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, we'll talk about this in the articles today. It's like Tom Nichols from The Atlantic. It's like, she was a pro-Syria, the only pro-Syria member of Congress when Russia was backing Bashar al-Assad in a civil war against his own people. And, she was spewing Russian propaganda from the floor of the House of Representatives. But, what are you going to do?